Hi guys, my name is Joe Valdez. I'm gonna do a little cooking tutorial for you here today. We're gonna make a red snapper with some green beans and a celery root puree. First thing I'm gonna start with is butchering this snapper. I don't want anybody to be intimidated by cutting down big fish, nor reaching the level of cooking fish well enough to eat inside your home. So hope you guys enjoy. Let's get started. All right guys, so here's our red snapper. Now last night I actually scaled it. I used a very old knife. I went against the grain, got all the scales off. It's a messy process. It takes a little bit of time. You know, make sure you wear goggles and protective gear. Just an old knife will do. Go against the grain, making sure that it's nice and smooth, getting all those nice scales off, okay? So with the gut out, just want to make sure that you guys know how to pick out great fish. You want to look for those red, nice and red gills underneath there. Okay, fresh eyes, making sure that nothing is too grayed over. All right, it's a really good looking fish. I found it at Seafood City, probably only 20 bucks or so. Not too bad. It's only about 1.5 pounds, maybe 2 pounds, but we're gonna get 2 nice fillets out of here. Okay, so it's clean. She's ready to go. No scales on it. Just gotta make sure. Oh, I found 1 scale. Just gotta make sure you be careful. You have a very sharp knife. Okay, and I also have some fish tweezers right here for once we get those fillets out. Okay, so I'm going to start right here underneath this dorsal or this fin. Just going to make a nice little cut. Back here is where the gill section starts, and I'm just going to find my knife all the way down, almost to the top of the head. Okay, just like that. That way it opens us up, so once we come through, it'll be nice and easy. Okay, I'm actually going to start back here. I'm going to make a nice little incision with my knife. And we're just going to do 1 smooth stroke against the back fin. Okay. Now, when I open this up, what you're going to do is you're going to find the spine right there underneath this. Okay. It's exactly where you want to go. When you're inspecting inside this fish, you just want to make sure you're very gentle. Okay. This red snapper has very fragile skin. Now, in the center here, you're going to find another bone, and we're trying to go underneath it. Okay, and I'm actually going to find my way out the backside right there so I can show you guys. There's a center spine bone right there. Okay, and I'm trying to go underneath it. Just like that. And then what you're going to find here is the rib cage. We're going to go over it just a little bit. Okay, and if you get all this excess fish with it, that's fine. We're going to trim it off here in a second. Okay. There's our first fillet. Now I have a little container with some ice right here. I'm just going to keep it on there until I get this other side done. Try and clean off my knife a little bit. Okay, we're going to turn it over. I'm actually going to start with the tail end facing me this way. Okay. Same deal. I'm going to start behind the gills right here, make a small incision, pull down. And we're going to go up towards the top, right towards the top of that head again. Okay. So now at this point, if you wanted to, you could take this head off and use it for only soup. I like to save the whole fish together. That way, when I do make a fish stock with it eventually, it's just 1 piece that I have to roast. Okay, so now what I'm going to do, since this is kind of backwards on us, I'm going to find my knife down there. Try and make a small incision right there. And so I opened up the backside. Again, trying to stay on the spine. Just remember, you want to make long, smooth strokes. And actually, this side is easier to find the rib cage because it's right in front of your eye. There we go. There's number 2. Now, I always try to save these. Okay. Normally, I'll cut them in half or leave them whole, wrap them up really tight, throw them in the freezer. These make great for fish stock or any seafood stock that you're going for, maybe with some shrimp shells, things like that. Okay. So next we're gonna clean up these fillets. I'm gonna show you guys how to take some bones out. All right, guys. So I have my 2 fillets right here on ice. Cleaned up my board a little bit. We're show you guys how to kind of clean these up a little bit. Okay. I'm gonna find just some strays that are lying around. Again, those can go for any sort of fish stock you want to make. Okay, these are actually really nice and long. Take that little end piece off. And now I'm going to go ahead and search for some bones. And all you're really doing is feeling against grooves for anything that should not feel there. It's kind of like when you feel your arm and you notice something that shouldn't be there. Yeah, there's always going to be just a couple tiny ones right there in that groove where the rib cage meets the top of the flesh. You got one more right there. And I have a little bowl of water right here. It just allows the bones to come right off of the tweezers. Okay. There's a little scale right there too. Okay. I'm gonna go ahead and clean up this other one now too. Now this one I pulled a little bit more off of the belly than I meant to, and that's okay. You know, it's not the end of the world. All we're gonna do is we're gonna trim the belly just like that. Again, a nice sharp knife to make sure you can go through all that skin. A couple more scales in there. Cut this top piece off. And we're gonna go looking for bones one last time. Okay. Some of them are pretty easy and they stick out really nice and big. And there's gonna be a couple small ones in here too. Right there. Yeah, fish tweezers. Super helpful if you're going to be cooking a lot of fish. There's one right there, right against the skin. Okay. So there we have our 2 fillets. Okay, these are nice and long. And since I'm going to cook these in the cast iron for you guys and kind of show you how I like to do fish in the cast iron, I'm actually going to make these each 2. Okay. So I'm going to find a short little bias, which means diagonal, right? And I'm just going to go ahead and push through. So there's 1, there's 2. And this right here is actually probably our nicest piece of flesh in here. So I'm going to try and make that one a little bit bigger. Okay, so there's a small little piece. All right, and there's our great looking piece. Trim some of that fat off right there. All right. Next, you could go on to portion these and freeze these if you like. Okay, the important thing is even though your fridge is nice and cold at 41 degrees, most of this fish likes to be kept at around 36 to 37. In most professional kitchens, we always keep them on ice, okay, wrapped nice and tight. And then when we go to cook them, we want to make sure that they're nice and dry. Okay, that way you get that crispy skin, especially if you leave the skin on. I tend to always leave the skin on of fish. I think it's delicious as long as it's cooked right, not soggy, nice and crispy. So next we're going to move on to cooking. All right, guys, stay tuned.